Flashback to 2021. We see a young little girl as she's filling up on water nearby, as we hear, "There's my precious angel." As we see a younger Ragnar walks up to her as she says, "Dad, the rivers are dry. There's nothing nearby." Ragnar says, Well, how about I show you something? My guys are already there. Been meaning to show you this for a while." As we see, it's a younger Athena, as she stands there looking intrigued, as he puts his hand out to her and says, "Come with me." We see them walking up this hill as she says, "We've been walking forever. How much further?" Ragnar says, "Oh, just a little bit more." As they walk up to Ragnar's men, as we see, they're all looking at the same thing, as Ragnar says, "Now would you look at that?" As they all stand there to see from a distance the town of Wyoming, Ragnar then says, "Look at that view. I haven't seen a place this intact since we left DC." Athena says, "It's amazing." Ragnar, you think this is finally the spot? Spot we can be safe from the reanimated? Ragnar says, "Hey there, sweet pea. You can never be 100% sure in this life. Hell, I thought my life would consist of being a rich manager all the way to my retirement. But look how that worked out. In life, Athena, you can never be 100% sure. But I promise, we will do everything in our power to make sure that there's no calamities. This place will make things more safe. And I suppose that means we'll be more safe. I think you're right. This is it." Revealing Athena and Ragnar made the choice to stay here together. Currently, we see Athena at the bottom of the hill. As we see her head is bleeding. As we see a bunch of blood on her. As she looks weak. As she hears the sound of deadheads nearby. She looks scared as she stands up and says, "Fucking liar." As she sees a group of deadheads approaching her. As she then runs away. Back with Elara's group, we see them standing there as she hugs Hunter Pants as she says, "Did you see anyone else get out?" Hunter says, "As far as I know, we're the only ones that made it out." "Just be lucky you weren't there." Elara says, "What the hell happened?" Hunter says, "It was him. He ran through our place. He killed so many. As far as I know, though, more of our folks got out. I just don't know who did and who didn't." Elara says, "That fucking bastard. I'll kill him. Real slow." Rob and Mara are coming back as Ryder sees Mara is hurt and says, "Oh my god, what the hell happened?" Mara says, "Athena, she jumped us. Rob here saved my life." Elara sees this and looks angry, and Rob says, "This is unreal. You all are trapped in this because of Ragnar's death wish or whatever the fuck he wants with me. None of you deserve this." Elara says, No, it's not your fault, Mr. Johnson. And I know that if you were here, he'd be glad you were too." Hunter says, "Well, we set up a good ways out from here. Though if we start now, we can make it back there by morning. I promise. It's safer than here. Come on." We see time going by as we see it go from day to night as they make their journey, as Ryder says to Mara, "Hey, let me take a look at that wound. We don't need you falling down." Mara says, "I'm fine." Ryder says, "You're not fine. You got shot." Hunter says, "Hey, don't worry, son. We took some medical supplies when we left Lincolnville. We figured wherever we were going, we probably would have needed it for those that were injured on our way out." Ryder says, "Thank you." Rob says, "So, this place we're going, does Ragnar know where it is?" Hunter says, "No, not as far as I know. This is the place we can go to prepare and get ready with the fighters that we still have left." Rob says, "Good. Through all this, I still haven't forgotten. And I'm not gonna rest until I get revenge for my daughter." As we see them keep walking. Back in Wyoming, we see Vel being taken down a long hallway with chains on her feet. As we see two skull hunters walking up to this room down the hall. As they open the door, as we see Ragnar sitting in this room as he says, "Hey, there's my pet." He looks at his men and says, "Give us a second, gentlemen." The men wait outside the door as he says, "Does it fit?" Vel says, "How does what fucking fit?" Ragnar says, "Well, the chains. I want my new pet to feel ready and trained when I need her to." Vel says, "You fucking find this fucking funny, don't you fucking dipshit?" Ragnar punches his desk and says, "And what do you consider funny, Vel? The fact your people got frost killed? The fact that you let Rob get away? The fact that you got away with destroying my town? Oh wait, your your people. Well, I guess that is rather amusing, so I do agree with you there." Vel says, "Not for long." She kneels down and gets right up in his face and says, "Rob is not coming back. Rob is long gone. Neither's your money, your success, people kissing your ass. None of that. And you are such a low-life little man that you had to keep Rob here in your possession because he is the only fucking one that is still alive that reminds you of the success that you had to make you feel fucking important because nobody else gives a shit about you or gives you any attention that you need, you sorry little sack of shit. Without Rob, you have no fucking pride or fucking confidence in your fucking self at all. So you can sit there and touch me, fuck me, torture me. Just remember one thing, I don't rely on others to give me strength. I actually have people that are still alive that fucking respect me. And you are so unhappy with yourself because you can't get to them, because I let them go. And all you have here are people who pretend to respect you. They actually make you convince yourself that you're actually important, you fucking lowlife pig. I don't need you to make me feel my pain, because what you're experiencing is far worse than what I'm gonna experience until you finally decide to throw me out like a rabid dog. So do what you're gonna do." Ragnar yells and grabs her by her hair as he slams her face into the glass table. We see her face is covered in blood. As she slowly is getting up, he presses on her eye socket as she screams out in pain as he says, "Pain! That is all I feel for you, Vel. And soon, Rob will too. Now you see, I'm not getting him back so he can help me anymore. No. I'm getting him so that he never feels the success ever again. Like he did to me. And you stay the fuck out of our business!" He sees blood on his hand as he says, "Oh, you got socket juice all over my fingers, Vel." As she sits there on the floor looking defeated. Back with Athena, we see her moving through this abandoned tunnel as she then hears a growling noise down at the other end of the tunnel. She tries to turn back as she then sees a bunch of deadheads are coming down the other way behind her. As she then sees there's no other choice, she has to push forward, but she then keeps moving. As she then walks down the other end of this tunnel, as she then sees two red eyes, as we see, it's a reanimated wolf. As she stands there looking terrified, as she pulls out her knife and says, "Come on, you son of a bitch." The wolf then jumps her as it bites her on the leg. She tries stabbing it multiple times as she only cuts it a few times. As one of the deadheads catches up to them, as she then rolls to the other side of the tunnel, as the deadhead and the wolf come after her, as she stands there with her knife, as she stands there looking terrified, but she then throws her knife as she kills the reanimated wolf, as the deadhead then jumps her, as she is then taken down, as we see multiple deadheads are coming for her, as she takes a rock off the ground and uses it to bash the deadhead's head in, as we then see another one coming up to her, as we see the crowd is following, as we see multiple deadheads down the end of the tunnel, as she then takes the rock and knocks the deadhead in front of her down, as she sees she has enough time, as she keeps moving, but now we see she's limping the rest of the way down this tunnel, trying to get away in time before the deadheads tear her apart. Back in Wyoming, we see Vel is being taken against her will by two skull hunters as they throw her in a cell, as she says, "What in the fucking fuck is this?" The skull hunter says, "This is where you're staying until you're ready to listen to Ragnar again. This will be your kennel from now on." They leave the room as she then sits there looking worried, as she looks at the floor of her cell, as she sees dried up blood and brain matter from Holly, as she sits there looking angry, knowing Holly died there. Back with Athena, we see her arriving back at Wyoming, as they open the gates for her, as we see her leg is now giving out, as she falls to the ground, as the skull hunters see her at the entrance and go to help her. Athena is down on the ground. Vel looks out at her through her cell window and smiles at this as she says to herself, "Well, would you fucking look at that?" As a wise man once said, "The best revenge is to never be like your enemy." Weak.